Hey everyone, Victor is here, your organic chemistry tutor, and today I want to look at the synthesis when we are going to be starting from benzene and converting that into a hydroquinone. And to all of the smarty pants in the comments below that are going to tell me to go and buy the hydroquinone from Sigma Aldrich or Fisher or any other chemical vendors, yes, I hear you. I know this reagent is dirt cheap and it's very affordable and there is no reason to synthesize that. However, that's unfortunately not going to be a valid answer on the test or quiz, so we need to come up with some sort of a way how we can do it in the lab. In industry, this synthesis is accomplished in a single step by taking benzene and oxidizing it with hydrogen peroxide, or going through the process similar to a cumin process where we have some other side products that we can also use in industry, but unfortunately lab science is a little bit different from industrial science, so we need to come up with some sort of other way to deal with that. So as usual, let's go through the retrosynthetic analysis and see what we can come up with. The first thing that jumps at me right away is that the hydroxyls, they are orthopara directors. So theoretically, if I already have one hydroxyl on my aromatic ring, that will be relatively easy to put another group into the para position where I want it to be. But the bigger question here is, how are we going to put that OH group onto our aromatic ring? Because while there are quite a few different industrial methods of making phenols, there are not that many of those methods that we know that we can use in the lab. And probably one of the most common ways how we are going to be making phenols in the lab are either going to be via the diazonium salts or via a nucleophilic aromatic substitution reactions. In the case of the diazonium salts, we can replace N2 with an OH in a reaction that's going to resemble a Zend-Meyer reaction where we are going to be using sodium hydroxide aqueous solution and copper 1 oxide for the catalyst. And in the case of the nucleophilic aromatic substitution, for as long as we have some sort of a leaving group and that leaving group is in the orthopara position to the electron withdrawing group, we can easily do the substitution reaction and replace that with the OH using a simple reaction with sodium hydroxide or something like that. Conveniently enough, the most common electron withdrawing group is going to be something like a nitro group NO2, and the reason why that is super convenient for us is because the nitro group can be converted into corresponding amino group, which is going to give us some sort of aromatic aniline, which then can be converted into the diazonium salt. And we already know that we can use diazonium salt to put the OH group onto our molecule to begin with, so these two methods kind of tie each other together into one sequence where we are going to be using both of those to put OH onto our molecule in two different synthetic procedures. So first I'm going to start by building up my molecule for the nucleophilic aromatic substitution. First, I'm going to do the electrophilic substitution, putting the leaving group on, which is going to be a chlorine. So that is just a simple halogenation reaction, giving me chlorobenzene as my product. Now, since chlorine is a deactivating yet it is still an orthopara director, I can perform the nitration reaction and it will put the nitro group into the para position from our chlorine, giving me the following product. And now, since my leaving group, my X, is in the para position from my electron withdrawing group, I can easily perform the nucleophilic aromatic substitution, replacing my chlorine with the OH. So I'm just going to react my intermediate with sodium hydroxide. That one, as I said, is going to be a nucleophilic aromatic substitution reaction, giving me my first OH group on my molecule. And of course, since para-nitrophenol is going to be comparatively acidic, it is going to be deprotonated after this reaction, but we assume that we have a corresponding workup and we neutralize everything, and everything that needs to be protonated is protonated here. Now, from this point, I need to convert my NO2 into the corresponding diazonium salt. In order to do that, I'm going to use a sequence of two steps in which I will first reduce the nitro group into the corresponding amine and then convert it into the diazonium salt using sodium nitrite and hydrochloric acid at 0 degrees, giving me the following intermediate. And the last step that we have at this point is to take our N2, our diazonium salt, and convert that into the corresponding OH. And for that one, as I've mentioned before, we are going to use a Zend-Meyer reaction using sodium hydroxide and copper oxide as our catalyst. And there you get it, we have our target molecule. Of course, this method is not as elegant as a single-step process that we use in industry, but that is something that we would expect to see from students on the exam, and that a sequence uses a lot of different reactions from aromatic chemistry, so an exercise like that showcases a lot of different chemistry that you cover in this chapter. Now, what did you think about this synthesis? Did you know how to do it, or did it make you scratch your head once or twice? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, hit the like button if you learned something new today, and subscribe to the channel for daily organic chemistry updates if you haven't done so yet. Watch this video next, and I will see you tomorrow.